All right, fam, what's up? We're back. Some more updates. Just doing little by little. Somehow I lost one of my spacers for my injector, so I got to order in those. We're almost ready to fire up, guys. I got to get my blow-off valve welded on. I've got to get my wastegate, which we've gone over in the last video we put on. But in the meantime, check this out. So we do have a top mounted car with factory AC. Granted, I did hollow out like the back of this headlight pretty good. You can't really see it in the video, but pretty much everything behind here, has been rounded off. So all that there is the plug for the actual light, and then all the plastic around it's been rounded off. So this pipe can actually fit up in through there. But if anybody's wondering, all you gotta do is kind of lop off this corner of your crash bar, which just literally is used for the other headlight mount right here. Lop that corner off right there. Run a, oh, that's dirty. Run a 3-inch to 2.5-inch 90, and then run a 2.5-inch 45. Cut that up, you'll fit it up in there. And it'll come in right underneath the headlight, and then you can 90 off of that 45 and go to another 90, into another 90, and hit your turbo. So just like that, we have factory aircon and a top mounted turbo. That's pretty cool to say. Not many people have been able to do this, so glad I could say that. But that's all done. Now that that's all in black, I really want to get this side redone in black. So probably gonna order some black pipes, redo those so it all matches. Just a black engine bay. Looks way better, but hell yeah. So headlight fits, no issue. Just gotta hollow it out just a little bit. Other than that, pretty simple, pretty simple. We did put some oil in it, and I put a new filter in it and spark plugs. Before that, I was compression testing. A little worried right now because when this engine compression tested 2 years ago, it was about 180 to 170 across all 6 cylinders. And as I'm going through this one, I had, I believe, 150, 150, 170, 150, 120, 120. Which I'm just hoping, because it sat for a while with no oil in it. It was completely sealed up, spark plugs was in there, oil pan was completely sealed up, dipstick tube was in there, completely sealed up. So there was nothing open on the engine. I'm just hoping that since it had no oil in it for 2 years, everything dried out, you know, and I put some oil in it today, hoping that it would lubricate everything up. We did get some oil pressure, so we know our oil pump is working good. Oil started spewing out of everywhere because, of course, I didn't have these tight at all, so it started pouring out of there. And then there's a fitting back there, you can kind of see that wasn't tight, so oil started pouring out there. So as you can see, my poor floor is covered with oil. The only other thing was we were spewing fuel out of the ends of our fuel rail. So that's why I ended up taking the fuel rail off, and then in that process lost a spacer. So I gotta order new spacers. But I am hoping that once the oil's in it, we can get it fired up and the oil squirters start really spraying the rings and they start lubricating all the cylinder walls, it'll bring that compression up. Hopefully, you know, it's good. I was told when I picked this up, there's video of it running, driving out of an engine, no overheating, no head gasket issues. So I'm really praying that nothing happened while it sat for 2 years. I don't know why it would, but you never know, which is why I checked it. I was sitting here like, dang, I gotta order new injector spacers and an O-ring for my injector. And then I look, and somehow the 6th one has just randomly appeared. So don't know where it was, thought I only had 5, and here's my O-ring for the injector. Weird, but yeah, cool. What's up, guys? So back at another little thing today. We are doing a B58 coil harness install and coil pack install. I don't have the coil packs yet, but maybe by the end of this video I'll have them. Depends on when I drop this video. I just want to go through how to do your harness, what to wire where, which wires, you know, go with which wires, and yeah. So as you can see, I've already got number 1 wired up. I'm top mounted, so I'm actually making a really skinny wire and harness. That way I can push all the thickness towards the back. You still use the beauty cover, but run the harness on top of the motor. So if you're looking at, this is the exhaust side. of the engine. This is the engine. The coil harness is going to run here now instead of here, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's go over what we need. First, you need pigtails, obviously. Here's some pigtails. Colors might differ, but what you need to know about the pigtails is one end is going to be pin 1 and one end is going to be pin 3. Now, depending on what your color wires are, it's pretty simple. If you guys go on Google, type in Arminhoff B58 Coil harness, you can find his blog. In his blog, he'll kind of tell you which wires go to what, as far as like the E46 coil harness and the B58/S58 coil harness. So really what you need to pay attention to is your E46, red and white is always power, brown is always ground, and a black/color wire is always your trigger wire. So if we come down here, you can see in our first one, we got our red wire, we got our black and white wire, and we got our brown wire. So we got power, ground, trigger. Over here, we've got our red and white wire, we've got our brown wire, and we've got a black and red wire. So same thing, but power, trigger, ground. So it's going to be one different color for every single one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on your stock coil harness. But as far as these go, you can kind of just look at the colors. Obviously, your pin 2 is going to be ground, no matter what, because pin 2 is ground on all of these. So you see pin 2 right here in the middle. Now you just got to differentiate. Obviously, all of them on here for the trigger are like black in some color. This one doesn't have a stripe, but black kind of makes sense. And green for power. So not too hard to differentiate, but I'm actually just soldering up some wires right now, putting some heat shrink on them. So as you can see right here, putting green to red and white, and then black will go to black and red, and then my brown, which is ground, will go to ground. We'll check back in whenever this is completed and see what it looks like on the car. All right, y'all, so harness is all finished up. Doesn't look too bad. Right now, I just have it all zip tied together just to kind of keep them together. I put a little piece of tape on this one. Let me know that one's 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, not too shabby. Just use a nice little soldering iron and some solder, and soldered all the connections together, and then heat shrunk them with the appropriate color matching heat shrink. But yeah, just to go over real quick, I already said it in the last clip, I'm pretty sure, but to wire these in, you're gonna have 3 wires. Obviously your pigtail, if you go to the junkyard, they're gonna be different colored. These are from a kit that I bought, which I will talk about in a minute. But the top of where it's locking, like the locking tab is right up here, that's gonna be the top of your coil. So if your coil pack is there, it would go, and then you'd lock that in. So looking at this, wherever you find the locking tab, put it on top. So your power wire on the left could be red, could be green. You're just gonna wanna make sure that your ground obviously is in the middle. That's brown, that shouldn't change. And the right side should be a black wire with some sort of coloring on it. Now, as you can see, my pigtails did not come with coloring, but if you look down here, these are all the different color-coded black wires. So you got black and yellow, you've got like black and purple, you've got black and red, you've got black and white, you got a bunch of different ones, purple and black. All of those are for different identifiers to which injector is what. So just make sure you obviously wire in your green wire, your number 1 wire, to your power wire, which is going to be red and white on the whole harness. It's going to look like that wire right there, red and white. Whatever your pin 1 is, wire it to red and white throughout the whole harness. Pin 2 is obviously ground. Ground's really hard to miss. It's brown. Follow this wire if you can't find it. It'll be a ground for every single one. So grounds will all connect to the same thing. And like I said, last but not least, your black wire, pin number 3, is going to be a black with a stripe of some sort of color to identify which cylinder goes to which injector. Little pro tip, if you're working on an older coil harness like I am, I have a 2002, it's probably gonna come with a resistor in it, and it's very, very brittle, okay? If you break it, don't panic too much, you can take it apart. There's some sheathing that goes around it, take that off. The resistor is about this long. It's a barrel, and then it's got 2 pins sticking out of either side. Those pins, if it breaks, you can weld that back to your wire, or solder it, as people like to say. I like to say weld. I like to weld my wires. You can solder that back to the actual wire itself and reconnect it. I've done it before on other ones because they break, no problem. It always will work. So yeah, here's your coil harness all done up. I'm gonna use some really nice tape to go back through and get rid of all these zip ties and tape it all up once it's in the right spot. But yeah. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Drop it down in the comments, and we'll continue on our next project. But real quick, if you're doing this, you're probably turboed, or you're gonna turbo your car and you need a tuner, or you already have a tuner, maybe you're looking to switch tuners. Hit up my tuner, Jules, at bracing.com. Best tuner I've ever dealt with. He sells these coil brackets, which I've shown in the last video, I believe, and part of this video I'll show you as well. From Tuner Tech, obviously Tuner Tech sells them, but if you want to support your tuner, go buy them from Jules at B Racing. I'll drop the link down in the description. Also, you should hit up Jules for a tune while you're there, because best tuner I know. Back to our B58 coil swap. As you can see, I've got the Tuner Tech brackets in there. I've just got these sitting in the holes right now because I don't have the B58 coils here with me. I don't want anything to fall in the spark plug holes, even though spark plugs are in them. But as you can see, they're pretty sweet. You just take off your little bracket, which your original coils will go to on your valve cover. Just take a little screwdriver and pry up this corner till it gets up a little bit and fold it, and then grab a pair of pliers and just think, rip it all the way off. You might break a few plastic tabs on here, but like, it's not really important. It's not for anything. But yeah, then you can just bolt this in. Everything fits like factory. So as you can see from earlier, we have my harness that I made. This is how we're gonna be running it. It's just kind of oriented like this. So because I am top mounting the turbos here, we're gonna run the coil harness up top here. So kind of something like that is where it's gonna go. Obviously it's gonna get taped up real nice, like I said. It's just unsheathed for now so I can mock everything up. I can cut zip ties, pull these back farther and make them tighter so it looks a lot better. Either way, the valve cover or the beauty cover will be going on it, so it doesn't matter. Can't remember, but in our last video or last filming, I believe, I talked about the fuel rail and how it was spraying at both ends, and I was fighting that issue. But it seems like I took the whole fuel rail off and took the end caps out where they were spraying from, put a tiny bit of thread locker on the very top thread so that it would just engage that thread, and sent it back home. Put some new O-rings on my injector spacers down there. Ended up ordering a set of LS injector spacers, but of course they would not sit all the way, so I do have a set of LS injector spacers for sale. But now it's sitting. I pressurized the fuel system and it did not spray fuel anywhere, which is a plus, so we're looking good. Getting real close, getting real close. Did get a new front OEM bumper there, because that one looks like shit. I don't even know what it's from. I think it's from a sedan. And I don't have any idea how they got it to fit on this coupe, but yeah. So I got an OEM 330 Ci coupe bumper up there we're gonna fit up. Got some M3 fenders coming in, we'll throw those on and it'll look pretty sweet. Other than that, got our hot side piping done, which I believe we talked about in our last video as well. I'm gonna redo cold side to black because it looks weird having everything black and that's over. Probably gonna get this black, heat wrap black. Probably gonna powder coat the front of the turbo black as well. Because I used to be all about the exposed aluminum and shiny silver stuff, but now I'm just like, I want it all blacked out. I want it hiding. They also make some really cool drug bin covers for each side. I'll get those on there, cover those up, keep the catch can sealed off, and keep the ECU box and everything over there sealed off. So should look pretty good. We're getting pretty close, guys. Not much left to do. I just got my tuning computer fixed, so we're good on that. I need to get my coils in, and then technically we could start the car with the coils. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Just a quick little update on how to do your B58 coils. Like I said, obviously these are not B58 coils, but I will be running my coils this way and running them from the top here since I'm top mounted. So just a quick little update, show you guys how to do that. Just to touch back on it. If you have pigtails from Tuner Tech, you're gonna get green pigtails. Green is power, black is trigger, brown is ground. So I actually got some more parts in that we're gonna update you guys on. And I will drop a video explaining how to do this, which I'm sure a lot of you guys scratch your heads. If you're good with wiring, you'll know how to do it. But anyways, we got a fuel pressure sensor installed on our fuel rail from our last clip, as you saw. Jules suggested that I run a fuel pressure sensor so that I can monitor fuel pressure, which will give us a little better tuning information, make tuning a little bit easier for us. But yeah, we also got a boost controller gauge. It's super sweet. Let's go check it out. All right, so here we are inside the beautiful car. As you can see, I ended up going with an SCG1 Innovate boost control and AFR controller, as well as a glow shift fuel pressure gauge. So let's fire this thing up real quick and check her out. So fuel pressure gauge, fresh. And we've got our boost controller AFR gauge as well. And as you can see, you can float through a bunch of different views that you want to watch while you're actually boosting, which this is how I'll be running it. And then you've also got some other parameters you can set up, like you can set up your wastegate duty cycle, obviously, to increase boost pressure if you'd like, increase gain, which is boost pressure at the top of your RPM. When you get into the higher RPMs, gain will help smooth the boost out and not allow any boost to drop off. You've got your active pressure, so this is where this has two safeties built into it. It's got an AFR and a boost safety. So if boost goes too high, it's going to cut boost all the way back to spring pressure at 4.1 psi. So that's about what I have in there right now. And you can also put it as a boost cut. So at 12 pounds right now, I've got it set. So if we go over 12 pounds of boost, it will cut boost down to our 4 psi. We've got it set to. Boost cut is at 100%, which means it will completely cut boost. It will not leave any boost in the system. Then you've got your AFR cut. So obviously past 12 psi, it'll cut AFR. It's another safety. And then AFR, if we go over 12.3 AFRs, it's gonna cut boost as well, go back down to spring pressure. So that's all that. You can put some shift stuff in here if you want to shift light. Tells you, PSI. You got AFR for your wideband units, and then you can just change your gasoline type. So I'll be running regular 93 for a while, so it'll be on gasoline, but then you can also change it to any type of fuel you would like. So you can go to E85, gasoline, LPG, methanol, ethanol. You can go to CNG, you can go to diesel. You can go to all the cool stuff. So it's really awesome. Really easy gauge. And then what's even cooler about this gauge is it does have an altitude compensation you can mess with. So if you're going to different altitudes, obviously I'm in Florida, but if I were to go up north, the altitude would be much different. Air would be much different. So this will compensate for that. Pretty awesome stuff here. Pretty awesome stuff. There we have it. Our nice little gauges install. Just real quick, you can go up into your fuse panel. It's a little dark under here. Also got a gauge sitting up under there. And you can put some tap fuses on there. Tap into some switched 12 volt and some constant 12 volts for however you want your gauges set up. Also pull out your center console trim. Right here, there's going to be a bolt. You can ground all your gauges to that bolt right underneath here, which is what I have for both of these. So pretty easy install. Now that Innovate sensor comes with some pretty cool goodies. So we do get a new Bosch sensor, an LSU 4.9 sensor. Real cool, real cool. Sorry, the lighting's really bad in here, so we're not gonna be able to see that much until I back up and let you get some light from the overhead light. But once I dive in, it's a little harder to see. We have a 4-bar map sensor. This is just rigged on here with some zip ties right now to hold it on, but map sensor runs right to the manifold. So that's our boost reading for the gauge. And then we also get a sweet little Mac controller. So I'll be switching this out to AN fittings, and I'll be running AN off the turbo to the wastegate to the controller, back in there. So should be fun, real easy stuff, just time consuming. But if you guys want to know how to wire it up, I will take the whole car apart, show you how I wired everything up, where I tucked wires, where I put wires. It's kind of simple. There's a little hole back here where your
clutch line runs through, and you can run some wires through there. And there's also, again, very hard to see, there's a grommet down here that is a complete solid grommet. You can cut a little hole out of that and run some wires through that, tape it up. It'll still seal up fine. Cab will be sealed. But yeah, so that's everything I got for this video. It was a lot to unpack in this video, I know. Not sure how long it's gonna be because I haven't started editing as I'm filming yet, but this is where we're at. Super, super close. I say this in every video I've been releasing so far. Fix the camera angle there. But super close to running, guys. Yeah, there's not much else I'm gonna do to it. I just need to get my exhaust and everything fabricated, and we're pretty much ready to go. We did do compression test. We did put some oil in it. We checked for leaks, everything like that. Just have not actually physically fired up the car. Yeah, but some fun stuff. Went to the junkyard today. Got some new mirrors. Oh, wrong mirrors. Got some new, oh shit, black coupe mirrors, which, as you can see, mine are fading there. And on this side, it's held by black electrical tape. So I needed some new mirrors. Went and picked those up for 40 bucks at the junkyard at the local pick and part. Also ended up scoring this ZHP bumper for 50 bucks while I was there. And I've got my coupe bumper I'm gonna run. And then one thing I also didn't know is these on the OEM coupe bumpers are back ordered or just discontinued. Impossible to find. You can't get these. And I have one that's broken on this coupe bumper right there that I've been trying to replace, and luckily I found one. Well, that's all I got for you guys in today's video. A little sneak peek at the snail. Got to clean it up. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I did change my name. If you guys are confused, it is now B's BMW Garage. I'm B. This is my garage. And this is my BMW. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you drop a comment, drop me a like, and if you're feeling froggy, drop me a subscription, man. We're about to get this thing running real soon. It's gonna be sweet. I have done everything to my 200th% possible to make sure this build is 100% bulletproof. If you look on my page, I've went through 3 other engines, just trying to have fun. And this time I was like, I'm gonna take some time, build the car right, make sure nothing is going to ever go wrong with it, and have fun. So that's where we're at. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time on B's BMW Garage.